Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the How to Stop Craving podcast. Today's topic is super important. It's what helped change the tide for me personally to help me gain control over my eating, especially my cravings. And this is a concept that will change your eating forever. So before you can change any eating habit, especially if it has to do with eating reactively, eating impulsively, snacking a lot, we first have to understand different eating patterns, and we have to even know what they are. Because I think most of us, when we're not really aware of how we eat and we don't really know about different eating patterns, we just can't change them. There's this idea that, food's tempting, food's right there in front of you, and you just eat it. So I'm gonna teach you the two main eating patterns that you must know before you can change any craving. And then when I'm going through these, I want you to really evaluate this on your own as you're watching this video. Am I doing these patterns? Am I doing these behaviors? So you could apply this to your life right now. So the two different kinds of eating patterns are reactively eating and proactively eating. So what does that even mean? So when it comes to reactive eating, think of the word reactive. If you actually define it, it means that it's action that happens in response to a situation. So in order for this to happen, a certain situation has to occur. So can you think of a time where you ate something reactively and you ate in response to a certain situation? I could think of a million different situations for me personally. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, I've been a psychiatric nurse for 8 years in the hospital, and one of the most reactive eating situations for me personally was when I would see food in the staff break room. And that break room was always loaded with all the sweets you can imagine. It's kind of ironic, right? Like as a nurse, there's so many different sweets. Like I thought it was crazy too, but it's just the reality of most hospital work environments. So every single time I'd walk in the staff break room, you'd see cookies, you'd see cakes, you'd see bagels, you'd see coffee with sweetener. It has a lot of crap in there, okay? So back in the day, before I knew the difference between these two eating patterns, I would always eat. And what was the reason why I eat? Because it was in response to the fact that the food was in the break room. So the situation was food is in the break room, and so I eat it. And this is what a lot of people tell me about. A lot of clients will say, oh, the food's tempting me, especially at social situations, holiday gatherings, buffets. Those are really common types of situations where people eat reactively, and it's mostly for the reason that the food is right in front of them. The second kind of eating, which I want to introduce to you, which most people actually don't really know about, and this is one of my hacks of the universe. I feel like after I knew this concept and this way of eating, it's changed my relationship with food forever, and I hope that it will help to change your relationship with food. So the second way of eating is proactive eating. Now we know that reactive eating means that you eat in response to a situation, while proactive eating means that you eat in a way where you're thinking ahead of time. If you look at the word proactive, it means anticipating action before something occurs, right? It's action that's anticipated before something happens. So when you think of proactive eating, it's a way of eating that you decide ahead of time, before anything even happens. What does that actually look like? Like, what does that mean? So when you're a proactive eater, let me ask you this to see if you're actually a proactive eater, to put you to the test. Let me ask you this question. Do you know what you're going to eat today? Do you know what you're going to eat for dinner today? Do you know what you're gonna eat for lunch? Do you know what you're gonna eat for breakfast? If you did not know the answer to any of those questions, you are not a proactive eater because you did not plan what you'll eat ahead of time. Proactively eating means that you know ahead of time, like you've decided ahead of time exactly what you'll eat, no matter what situation comes up for you. Now that's the key versus reactive eating. The main difference between reactive and proactive eating is that reactive eating occurs in response to a situation, while proactive eating is eating in a way that you decide and you commit to no matter what situation comes up for you. So we brought up that example, right? Like at work, I always saw bagels, cakes, breads, whatever you want, donuts. I'd always see it at work. So when I was a proactive eater, well, first let me tell you, when I was a reactive eater, I would literally, this was my story. Like we had this thing called Tea for the Soul. It was like a monthly tea and cookie service that the spiritual department would provide for our nursing staff. And every single time they came, I didn't care about the tea. I was like, screw the tea, I want the cookies, okay? I want the cookies. And there were always white chocolate chip macadamia nut cookies that I just had to have. And they always came, like, I think this was purposefully, they always came in the afternoon when people's cravings are high. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. So they would come in the afternoons with all these cookies and this tea. And as a reactive eater, I would just go for the cookies. I did not think about it. I did not hesitate. And easily I would eat 3 to 4 like big cookies in my shift. And of course, like when that adds up over time, you don't want that. You don't want all those unnecessary calories that you didn't plan for. Now, the difference was, as a proactive eater, when I'd go to work, I already knew what I was gonna eat. I planned my meals ahead of time. I brought my food from home. When I was a reactive eater, I did not prepare my meals, by the way. So I brought my food from home and I committed to eating only what I brought, no matter what. So even when Tea for the Soul, they came with their little cart, even if they came, I did not react. Instead, I committed to what I decided already ahead of time. Can you imagine what kind of eater you would be if you were that person? If you always knew ahead of time exactly what you'll eat, you'd never have to worry about any other social gathering ever again. You wouldn't have to worry about gaining weight on a vacation. You wouldn't have to worry about eating or drinking if somebody offers you food and you feel left out. Like, you wouldn't have to worry about any of that because you already decided ahead of time exactly what you'd eat. So this is a big tool that I teach my clients to help them feel empowered over their food. Because guess what? If you're a reactive eater, if you eat in response to situations around you, where is your control in those situations? That's exactly right. There is no control. You have no control. Your eating is based on your environment 100% of the time. You eat based on what's around you, and that is the most disempowering thing that could ever happen. Take it from me, I'm an ex-carbaholic. I know exactly what that feels like. Eating from vending machines, eating from the staff break room, like I know what that's like. So here's the deal. When you're a proactive eater, you know exactly what you're going to eat a day ahead. So I have my clients plan their meals 24 hours in advance. That means they know exactly what they're gonna eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner the day before. If you find yourself struggling with reactive eating, especially if you work in a place like a hospital where they give you all the desserts, you gotta have a plan if you wanna take care of yourself and if you don't wanna derail your weight loss goals. Have a plan, know exactly what you're going to eat tomorrow. I want you to even pause this video and jot this down for like 2 seconds. Write down what you're going to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay? And it doesn't have to be complicated. I only tell my clients, plan a protein, veggie, and healthy fat that you're gonna eat in every meal. Do this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that is literally all you have to eat. You know, you don't have to keep it complicated at all. It's just, what protein am I eating? What natural fat am I eating? And what vegetable am I eating if you if you eat vegetables, if you're not on a strict carnivore diet or anything like that. All right, you guys, so I hope this was helpful. In my next video, I'm gonna go in a little bit more detail about how to plan meals in a more specific way if you want more guidance on that. But anyway, this concept was so empowering to know because once I became a proactive eater, I was always in control of my food. I was always in control of what I would eat, what would go in my body, no matter what baked goods or anything were in front of me. And trust me, that is the most empowering place you could be in. Eat intentionally, know what you'll eat ahead of time, and you will reach whatever weight loss or self-care goal you set for yourself. All right, guys, if you love this video, please subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below and also clicking the little bell so you could be notified when my new videos come out. I'll see you in my next video of the How to Stop Craving podcast. See you next time.